I've been in search of the best travel camera backpack, and I'm convinced I found the one. I scoured the shelves of Yodobashi until I found perfection.
Hentacular.
Now, I'm an avid human who does run and gun type vlogs. I do many day trips like wildlife photography as well as travel. So my criteria for the perfect backpack is comfortable straps. You need something well padded for the whole day. The straps should also be able to support a quick access camera clip elegantly. More details on this one later in the video. Single person operation. And on the topic of traveling alone, it has to be theft proof.
Yoink.
And one thing to help minimize theft is that it doesn't scream, "I'm a camera backpack!"
Pesky bee.
It must also be durable.
Pesky bag.
It should be able to fit a wildlife lens. Oh, and like all other backpacks, it should have some sort of waterproof solution, like, a rain cover. And obviously, a common criteria for all backpacks is to fit a tripod. And this last criteria is something I've actually added recently, and it's great customer support. You never know when you need it until you need it. Story later in the video. God, I'm a rapper now. And guys, when you have such a big criteria, the perfect backpack is so hard to find. And you may be wondering, what's the bag? Well, that's the ThinkTank Backlight 26 liters. And this bag also comes in black if you were curious. Yes, I know my footage has a moi. Okay, so let's look at the overview of the bag. You have two main compartments, the front compartment and back compartment. And there are small compartments here and there, but let's focus on these two. Now the back panel has a customizable divider system. Now this is pretty standard in a lot of camera backpacks, but I'll tell you why this is the best one I've used. I just love the structure it comes in. So there's 3 main columns, and for the most part you adhere to this system. Of course you have the thinner pads which are flexible and you can change the lengths of different items, but there's sort of a rigid system with flexibility. That's opposed to other backpacks where it's sort of a free-for-all. Sometimes I feel it's very awkward for defining spaces for each part. And although you can do this with other bags where if a lens is shorter you can put them upright, and if it's longer you can lie them down flat, I find this solution to be far more elegant, and I'm not sure why. And you can check out these different backpack configurations I've used for different use cases. And the perfect thing is, for each different use case you can see I've got a completely different system for each one of them. And for bonus points, look at my camera mic. It is under no tension when you store it. It's excellent. Now the back panel has 2 mesh pockets and they're relatively flat. I wouldn't recommend keeping any hard items or anything like that. I use it for a microfiber cloth as well as lens wipes. Moving on to the front pocket, it has pretty standard organization, a bit outdated if you look at the smartphone pocket size, but nonetheless organization is available. Now with the front pocket there are these 2 straps which get in the way of the zip, and I'm just stubborn. I can easily undo the straps, but it looks ugly, so I keep it zipped and I just stubbornly use my front pocket with a limited range. Now you have 2 top pouches here, which is different from other camera backpacks. The first one is also a very flat pocket, which I just use for like my passport really, especially when you travel in Japan. Now with this flat pocket, I would have preferred if it was deeper, like a nice quick access pocket you see in other backpacks, but it is what it is. Now this other front pocket is quite interesting because what you can see is, if I undo this pocket now, I take these straps out and they actually help secure a tripod. Basically, there's this hidden Velcro pocket at the bottom of your backpack. Undo that and you have the stand for your tripod holder, and this top pocket helps secure everything in place. So the tripod goes here and then, yep. And on the topic of tripods, you also have a left and right pocket, which are bottle holders and double as tripod holders. Those annoying straps at the top I was talking about earlier, they fasten the tripods in place. Just in case anyone's asking, I've tried this for a monopod, it works fine as well. And I've saved the best for last. I reckon this is the most underrated feature in a backpack. It stands up by itself. And also what makes this bag more comfortable is the sternum strap. I don't really use the sternum straps, to be honest. As well as these hip straps. On the topic of hip straps, check out how effective this is for solo operation. In terms of solo operation, this bag is very handy. What you do is make sure the hip strap is on and you just turn this bag around. I've got one hand holding a camera. I can swap hands, unzip this bag, and they usually have this elastic which sort of comes around here, but I've removed that. It's not really needed. But essentially right now you can see I have both hands free. I can do whatever I want, and that includes changing lenses. So I can take this one out and chuck a new lens on. And once you're done with that, of course, all you need to do is zip the bag back up and bring this back around. And there we go. And you can see how theft-proof that back panel is, because ain't no one getting access to your camera gear unless your bag's off your back, and then yeah. And honestly guys, I've tested this bag in Japan, the country where you take 20 to 30,000 steps per day, every day. And yes, end of day, I got tired, fatigued, whatever, and that's to be expected. The key thing is, midday in the trip, I was feeling great, and towards the end of the trip, I was getting tired. That's comparison to other bags I've used, such as my Low Pro, where by the time midday hits, I'm swapping bags with the missus because my shoulders are aching. And we've got these beautiful shoulder straps to thank for that. And not only do I think that these straps are super comfortable, but they're very practical. They have this MOLLE attachment system, and I use it to mount a quick access camera clip onto there. Now the key difference is that the back of the camera clip is not actually coming in contact with your skin, whereas if you mount it on some other camera backpacks, it'll mount directly on your skin, and this will really make you sore throughout the day. And my second last criteria is that it's got a waterproof solution. This normally is a very quick tick in the box saying, yep, there's a rain cover for the backpack. Yep, that's waterproof, guys. Trust me guys, I've tested it and it works. But I've got a story I want to share just on this. So as you may be aware, I bought this in Japan, and then a month later I took this to Boracay during typhoon season. And you can imagine what it's like being in Boracay during typhoon season.
But Henry, I can't imagine it.
Oh, why didn't you say so earlier? Check out my vlogs here. They're the Boracay typhoon season vlogs, and they got a scuba diving trip in between. But long story short, amidst all this windiness, I saw it fly off my backpack. It didn't register in my head that it's actually my camera backpack cover, and well, I lost it really. And I will say this was manual error. It was not a fault of the product. I was too fixated on providing you with high quality videos. So make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below. Thank you. Basically, I reached out to the ThinkTank support team a little under a year ago saying, hey, this is the situation. I lost my rain cover. How can I get a replacement? I had Jonathan from their support team, and essentially they shipped me a brand new one for free, no questions asked. So thank you to the ThinkTank team. I really appreciate it. They had no clue, they don't even know I'm a YouTuber, so they had no clue that I was going to make this video or review their bag. It's just a quality customer support team. Now, of course, it's very hard to find the perfect backpack, and everything will have a flaw, and this bag is no exception to it. I found two main flaws I wanted to cover. The first flaw, I briefly mentioned it earlier, but this front compartment, the organization is outdated. There are much better modern camera backpack organization solutions which really account for SD cards or even batteries. And look at this, you can even check out the charge on this battery. The second flaw is not really camera related, but more just general usage. Now, as an avid human, when I'm using this backpack and I'm traveling, I like to have a bigger front compartment, or not even front compartment, just compartment in general, so that way you can store any souvenirs or goods or anything along the way when you're traveling. Now look at my PGY Tech backpack. This is an absolute tank of a bag. It's carrying God knows what. It's packed to the brim, but yet it can still support it, and I was very impressed by that. I do intend to do a PGY Tech OneMo backpack review in the future, so subscribe. Second time I've plugged it, you better listen. And to conclude, I reckon this bag is probably the best I've ever used. It's quickly become my go-to bag, my most used bag. I love everything about it, and for the most part it is perfect with some minor limitations which are very I could definitely recommend this bag to anyone that's using it for run and gun purposes or travel or vlogging or only. If you do have any comments, leave them down below. Otherwise, you better get